as a bonus we got the Jules hand. Hello and good luck. We lost the die roll, unfortunately. Excuse me. Still got that code. We're facing Alberto Lore. He devastated our measly 1 on the die with a 5. So you can never judge anything by checking the time on a game. Like, our previous game didn't last that long, and that's not because we were fast, it's because our opponent was. Interesting. I think I'm gonna keep this hand. It's very slow, but if this is some kind of creature oriented, this is pretty good, and if it's not, then we're kind of fine with having a lot of lands. Temple. I'm gonna start off with a colonnade. I mean, we don't really know what we're looking for. I expect this to be blue, white, red control, and then we don't really need to do anything. If he likes taps out for a Geist of Saint Draft, that's annoying. Because it will get a hit in. Otherwise I will just play a land and cycle Electrolyze, I think. No, something is happening. Let's see what. It could also be a fetch to avoid Shadow of Doubt, which I think is correct. If you're gonna fetch a basic, might as well do it. Could be a Vendilion Click, I suppose. No Vendilion Click. Alright, no Vendilion Click. Yeah. Let's see, do you target me? Yeah, I'm just gonna Electrolyze. It's really no point in doing anything else. Ah, too bad. But now we have Supreme Verdict, Jace, and some other good spells that he kinda wanna take. And we will also get to draw another card, so I mean, if he takes like, I would probably take Jace out of this hand, depending on how his hand looks, of course, but that's the only card that brings something to the table here. Yeah, and we drew a land, obviously. And he just passes. That's excellent for us. Snapcaster. I'm gonna play... Yeah, I'm gonna play Arid Maze and pass. Gonna fetch up the green, and most likely he will think that the green is for Ancient Grudge, and that's good for us. And if he is missing land drops, we are winning by a mile. Stomping Ground. We could helix him here, but I don't want to do that. Another mana leak. Temple or not to temple? I think I will temple here. Now we're kind of in the market of a action spell. Bolt me, sure. Now I think we're kind of in the spot where we wanna go for a Lightning Helix. If you want to counter it, I think I won't bother. I mean, it's nice to gain 3 life, so maybe I will fight over it. Spell Snare. I guess I'll mana leak that, because now I can play Snapcaster Electrolyze. Unless he lets this go, of course, which he might. Spell Snare is a pretty good card against this deck overall. And I kinda like the mirror because we have the wishes and they are close to a trump card. Oh, he tries the mana leak? I suppose. Lightning Bolt. I think it's correct to go Snapcaster Electrolyze here. It's just so good when we can keep up on cards and still develop our board. Draw another Scalding Tarn. Well, we don't really need more lands now. We're good on the land department. Interesting. I don't think I want to crack the Scalding Tarn. We can fetch basic islands. Or rather, a basic island. I'm not gonna animate Colonnade either, no point. I suppose something will come out here. Helix, yeah, that's not happening. Do you have another Spell Snare? Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna fight over that. Now I think we will fetch. No, maybe not. Ooh. I'm not that interested in the Bolt, but Elspeth is pretty interesting. Then we might as well play that and pass. And now we can F6 because we will not crack those fetches. If he just passes here, we can't do anything. All he has used is Spell Snares and stuff. He could very well have a Cryptic Command. Do we send the Colonnade in? No, I don't think so. Hopefully we'll burn like an Electrolyze here. Lightning Helix, that's unfortunate. Now we cannot play Elspeth. It's not worth playing it into a mana leak, I don't think. I'm gonna crack those. Gonna grab Breeding Pool, I think. And what else? How many white do we have? Just 2. So white source, and we have plenty of red, so white blue then. Snapcast Mage, interesting. I think we're just gonna pass. So we'll have Snapcaster mana leak up. If not, we will play. Okay, something is happening here. Yeah, that is not resolving. Snapcaster mana leak. And there we go. I could have played Elspeth here, but I don't really like playing my best card right into his 5 spell hand. What I perhaps should be doing is attacking with the Celestial Colonnade. All I want is for him to use an Electrolyze or another 3 mana spell. Yes, that's totally acceptable. He could have several burn spells to burn down. We didn't even block. So we can, very interesting, we can Supreme Verdict, but then we can't play Elspeth. We can play Elspeth and hope that he doesn't have 1 burn spell, which is pretty unlikely. I guess we'll play it anyway. I mean, yeah, I think it's correct. If he has a burn spell, then we will at least have a good board. And he doesn't have that much life. There's a colonnade. So if it burns down Elspeth, we will get to smack for like 9. Poor Elspeth. But I think that was the best because it forced some action. And if our board gets worse, we can Supreme Verdict. Oh, hello. Then we will just attack with everything. So he opted to bolt. He could have like an Electrolyze. And then we can wish for, hard to say at that point, Snapcaster Mage. Sure. Let's see, he has, yeah, I'm probably gonna Supreme Verdict here. Or maybe not. We'll see what he does. Yep. Let's check the deck. We can wish for Sphinx, Keranos, Sigarda seems pretty good. He could also have Supremes, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. What I'm worried about is if I go grab Keranos and he has attacks for 7, if we like loses, but I don't think we will. Let's play Glittering Wish. If he has a spell snare, that's annoying. Yes, I would like to do that. We could also, I was gonna say we can grab Ajani and keep the Celestial Colonnade tapped, but then he has bolts and attacks it. So we have Sigarda and Keranos. I think Keranos is the best. I will gamble on Keranos. Let's see if that works out. Keranos survives a Supreme Verdict. That's kind of the tiebreaker for me here. Yep, I could understand that. But now Keranos can combine with the Lightning Bolt we have to kill Resto Angel. Oh, he didn't have a 5th land, that's good. and then we will have Celestial Colonnade on D, and a nice squad of soldiers to attack with. Unless we're dead, of course. Damage step. I think you wanna... Okay. It's fine. So let's see, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. So if he takes 1 damage, he's dead. Or if I draw another bolt or something. We had the land. I see. Well, first things first, let's attack with all creatures. Let's see. I think we have to sweep the board this turn. Yeah, that's too bad, but I think we have to. If he has a path and we try to block with Colonnade, we're just screwed. Oh, that's a nice top deck for next turn. So now he needs a bolt. We get to, okay. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, now I think we're safe. Batter Skull. Well, that's good, but you're dead. Unless you have a path, I suppose. White, blue. I haven't given him a good opportunity to use a path, so he could very well have that. Yep. Interesting. Do I path that? I might as well do it. No, I can't do it on his turn. That's horrible. Yeah, I'm just gonna path that. So we have a bolt. So he can't use the Batter Skull at least. Yes, please. I think we're just gonna pass, and if he has a cryptic command, he has a cryptic command, but maybe he will spend some life doing it. If he has like a land, he can return and replay Batter Skull, but that's very dangerous. He could also animate and attack. That puts me dead next turn, unless he has something. Nothing. Okay. Well, that's good. Now we'll just pass. No point in doing anything. It's not from our part. It needs to happen something. Vendilion click with cryptic backup. Let's see if he targets himself. Targets me. Well, I have to go for it now. And if he has a cryptic command, I'm dead. Okay. So that game was a bit closer than I thought it would be. Put a path in, I think timed reinforcements in. Angers can probably go. The Supremes are pretty good. Revelation we want. Keranos. Could probably bring in Counterflux and remove one Supreme. Yeah, I like this. The Tension Sphere is not very good, but he is running creatures, so he could be running like a sword, and we also saw the Battle Skull, so I think the Tension Sphere has its place. If we see swords, we could consider bringing in the Ancient Grudge. A 2-lander, but a pretty decent one, I think. I'm gonna keep. His best card in the matchup is by far Spell Snare. Sure, I'll play that. He probably runs a Tectonic Edge or two as well. Ooh, a Glittering Wish. Don't think it's worth running it out here. Don't think he will play anything, but he could also have Shadow of Doubt, I guess. Just gonna crack this and find red, white. Path. Now we need to do something, since we are not hitting more land drops. Land. No, it's a bolt. Oh well. Let's start a bolt plan then. And if he fights over this, I'm fine with that. Yeah, Remand is the only card that's bad here. I think, yeah, I have to let that be. It has to be this way. Because if I counter Remand and he untaps, plays Battle Skull, we can go home, basically. Discarding a bolt. You have a bolt? Sure. That's fine. No land. Let's bolt you again then. Yeah, it connected. So if he has a Resto Angel here, 5 mana, Rev for 2. I think we will mana leak that. Now we can untap and do the Battle Skull thing that I did not want him to do, but at least we can pass the token and get the Battle Skull on the way down again. Cast of Draft. There's a land, but it's kinda late. Let's play Glittering Wish and see what we can do with that. Oh well. Supreme Verdict and pass. So we have a plan for next turn. I do not want to path this token here, just to preserve life. Timely reinforcements. Yeah, that will be good at some point. So here probably a Resto Angel or a Vendilion Click will come down. Helix us. Could also be dead to burn, that's fine. 4 mana. There's the Better Skull. Alright. At least we can have ourselves a timely reinforcement. If he has a spell pierce, that's very unlucky for us. So we could path the token now. But I don't want to do that. I'm gonna wait. Because if we path it now, he will have mana to just bring it up and replay it, and then we are at the same spot as last time, or last turn. But now we can at least path it and have a shot at mana leaking it on the way down. Three mana, 4 mana, 5 mana, another Better Skull. Activate the colonnade. Deal. Now I guess we will have to path that. Doing it post attacker, or no, pre-attackers, because otherwise he will get a free attack in. No attacks. Yep, Modo misclicks. Doing it again. So what is our game plan here? How do we win? I think now is a perfect time to play Glittering Wish. Yes, to fetch out Detention Sphere. Blue, white. And I want to grab your Better Skull, if I may. Yes. So we got rid of his Colonnade and his Better Skull. I would say that worked out pretty well for us. We're still at 10 life. We are behind on lands though, but we have a pretty good hand. Snapcaster, Sphinx for 2. Or Helix. Sphinx, okay. Don't miss the red mana. There we go. Yep. We also have a Snapcaster. Interesting. Just gonna bash with 2 creatures. No point trading 3 for 2 when we are behind. We could rev for 2 here to try to hit a land. But I'd rather have mana leak up. Not sure what he can do on his turn that I would like to mana leak, but it could be something. We will rev end of turn, obviously, if he doesn't do anything. Electrolyze. We could path, Snapcaster path. Our own guys, obviously. To get more lands. No, I think I'm fine with that. It's not good, but Yep. I assume you're done. Yeah. Blue, blue, white, 2. If it counts it, that's fine. Yep. Lightning bolt. Yeah, I think we'll pass again. Now we have a lot of options. Is it untapped? No, no Vanillion Click. There's a Colonnade. That's the card I was worried about. Yeah, I'm just gonna use the Revelation again. I mean, if nothing else, it will get the stupid counters out of his hand. If this is a Cryptic, that's pretty bad, I guess. Another Mana Leak. Alright. Another path. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit with the soldier here. He's pretty low on action, so I think if I can path the Colonnade and bolt Snapcaster, I'm in pretty good shape. It's not certain that he will send the Colonnade, but I think he will. Do we have enough mana to Snapcaster path? Yes, we do. It's just that I would like to get spell snares out of his hand if possible. Let's see, blue, red, then we'll have white. Yeah, that should be enough. And this also puts him to the test if he has like Cryptic here. That's very good for us. Counter Flux, that's a pretty good count spell, I would say. Then we will have to path your guy now. Okay. So this game is pretty tight. Yeah, I kind of thought that he wouldn't attack. I'm not sure why he won't, but yeah. Ooh, another Snapcaster, I like that. If you want to trade, I'm fine with that. So we had no spell snare last turn. Could draw one now, I suppose. We could. What do we have? Snapcaster Bolt, that's everything we have. I think I'm fine with that. Just gonna bolt his Snapcaster, and I don't think we will have any use for the Mana Leak, but we at least have it up. If it goes like Cryptic, replay Detention Sphere, or replay Batterskull, then it's pretty good. There's a Jace, it's pretty good. do we go for a Jace here? Kind of think we do. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. He could have Mana Leak, Cryptic Command, whatever, but he didn't have it last turn. He burned a Counterflux. So he drew a Cryptic Command. Yeah, it's kind of the worst that could happen. So now we have to decide if we're gonna path that or not. The path in his upkeep. It will be hard for him to replay it though. Let's see. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. If he has a land, he can pick it up, replay it, and have mana to pick it up again. I was gonna attack first. His timer is getting pretty low too. No, not an Electrolyze or Resto Angel. That's not very good either. Now we kind of have to decide if we wanna bolt that or not. No. So we can bolt it. I think we have to pass the turn. Yep. Yes. I'm not gonna fetch here. So I can play the Tension Sphere, and he will pick this up. Then I can hit for 1, and then next turn if I draw a bolt specifically out of my 1 left, I win. I can also bash for 4 and jump block, but that doesn't get me very far. Yeah, guess the Tension Sphere is my best option. Yep. This time, actually, Moto, I do not. It's a rare occasion. I guess I could draw Electrolyze into something. Could draw an Elspeth, that would be pretty good. Yep. Do we fetch now? I guess we will fetch now. Got 2 reds. I guess we go for Stiments. So what do we have? We have a second Tension Sphere. Zero Visions, right. Vendilion Click. I'm gonna Mana Leak that. That's pretty bold, because now if I draw my second Tension Sphere, I'm in good shape. We did not. We did find an Electrolyze. Do we jump here? 2, Yeah, I think we do. Gonna do 1 and 1. Yeah. Mana leak. That is not the card. Since his timer is so low, I will be okay with passing here. Yeah, I think I will bring in at least one Ancient Grudge. Plains. Oh well, we're gonna stall. Theoretically we can still win. That makes it harder. Too bad he drew the cryptic command that turn to counter Jace and bounce the Tension Sphere. Let's see. Let's remove Lightning Bolt isn't very good and bring in an Ancient Grudge. Do we want another win condition in the deck? Do we remove another Lightning Bolt? I think so. It kinda only kills Snapcaster Mage. And it's always a consideration. Do I want to be on the play or be on the draw? In this game I don't really know, but I think the card you lose from being on the play is compensated for the life you don't have to pay for your lands. Let's say I have a couple of duels, and if I'm on the play I can play them tapped. No, we will mulligan again. This hand we will keep. And I think we will play Temple of Mystery first. Oh. Yeah, that's too bad, but we don't want that. Barrier Skull is far away, we have 2 mana leaks. Let's play a Serum Visions. Okay, I can get behind those cards. So now we have Mana Leak up for potential Geist of Sin drafts. We can play a Jace next turn to force some action. Fetch a basic mountain. Yep. I would be so happy if he tapped out for a Geist here. Yeah, I thought so. We could either go Snapcast the Serum Visions or Jace, or don't do anything, and I kinda like the don't do anything plan. Sure. Now we can play Geist with Spell Snare backup. Do we fetch here? No. Missed land drop again. That's bad. Is this an Arista Angel? Electrolyze. Yeah, I think I have to counter that. He's getting too much flow otherwise. No Spell Snare. Interesting. Could this be the better skull? Geist. Yeah, I'm forced to try to counter that. Gonna grab Basic Mountain. Yep, he has a mana leak of his own. Or a remand. Yep. So we can Jace. I think we kinda have to Jace here. Just gonna minus. Those are cards. I'm gonna take pile 1. Take edge. Boo. Okay. Is this going for Jace or for me? Going for Jace, and the angel is going for me, I suppose. Yeah. That's legit. Revelation. We could play Snapcaster next turn. I think timely reinforcements is the best. He probably has a counter spell. It's very likely that he do. But if he doesn't, timely reinforcements is pretty good. Yep, that's good. Can we do any shenanigans? Don't think so. We will just have to take 2 here and pass the turn. Now the plan is to path the angel. He needs like a counter spell and a burn spell. Because this keeps us alive from the Geist next turn as well, since we have Snapcaster path. His clock is getting pretty low, I have to say. Yay! He timed out. Let's see, what would we have drawn? Can we get to see that? No? GG's, man. So our plan next turn would have been to Snapcaster, path the colonnade and block the Geist. That would have left us on 1 life, and then we could have sphinxed our way back into the game if he would have bricked, but you never know what would have happened. And I also know that he drew a lot of good cards versus our mulligan 6, but that's Magic, especially Magic Online. I hope you have enjoyed the games here, and I hope you see the potential in splashing the Wish in the blue-white-red deck. I think we showed, at least in the mirror, how good the card is, and I guess against the burn deck too. And I apologize for the first match, but I don't choose my opponents. So thank you for watching, please subscribe, drop a comment, and have a great day.